Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Hope and Faith Foundation video blog series entitled Finding Your Sacred Path. I am David, and this is Carly, and we are the founders of the Hope and Faith Foundation. Our first video in this series is called Accessing Your Inner Authority, also known as your inner power or your inner truth.
So as we access this inner authority, what it truly is accessing this part of ourselves, this deep piece of ourselves that is our truth, our strength, and our power.
And we all have this, and I think the first step or pre-step to this is to know that we have this, to know that we have this power inside of us, to know that we have this magnificence, we have this greatness, we have this potential that's waiting to be unlocked. And it is only us that stops us from unlocking it. We are the only ones that can unlock it, but yet we are also the only ones who can stand in our own way of unlocking it.
So as we grow up, I believe that we say yes, not really knowingly, to a lot of belief systems. And as we grow older, we realize that these belief systems that we have allowed to rule our lives truly are not helping us and is not allowing us to access that piece of ourselves. It is standing in the way.
Absolutely. And a couple of quick stories for you about our lives. Accessing our own inner power, our own inner authority. This is really what catapults you onto walking your sacred path, or stepping onto your sacred path. And I know the moment I think of in my life was when I was probably 21 or 22 years old, and I'd been in school my whole life. I went from, like most people, from little tiny person school all the way through, a few years of college, but I was miserable. I didn't have any idea who I was. I was studying a bunch of stuff that was relatively meaningless to me. I had no purpose. I had no identity. I was drinking a lot of beer and, doing things that weren't really feeding me. And I remember the moment clear as it was yesterday. I was standing on my parents' front porch out in the Pine Barrens of New Jersey at nighttime with a buddy of mine. We were looking at the stars and talking about possibly taking a road trip, and I remember it. There was a voice that I heard, and it said to me, "Hit the road and leave everything behind. Hit the road and don't look back." And it felt like truth to me. It made me really excited. It made me really inspired, and I ended up doing that. I dropped out of college. I bought a van, and I ended up traveling around the country for 2 years in what was really my personal medicine journey or my personal vision quest. And in those 2 years, I really found out a lot about who I was, and I really stepped onto my sacred path. But in order to take that step, I had to not listen to those outside voices, those belief systems that said, you need to stay in school and get your college degree to be successful in life. You need to do this, you need to do that. None of that was my truth. And when I listened to my inner authority, I followed my own truth and I stepped on to my sacred path. I have not looked back since.
And for me, there's a few examples that come to mind, but a really large one for me was I got plantar fasciitis in both of my feet very severely, and I was really bedridden for about a year. And during this process, what I realized was I had, until then, really truly been operating from a place of what's going to make me okay, really listening to those belief systems and those outside voices. Having a job I didn't really like, doing things that I didn't really enjoy or didn't really make my heart sing, but I did these things because I thought I needed to, because it's what I had always heard. So during this period of time, what I did was I prayed and meditated one night, and very clearly what came to me was really allowing myself this opportunity to not feel sorry for myself that I'm hurt and in bed, but to listen to that deep space within me. And so for about a year, I did all of the things that made me really happy. I meditated, I studied, I took different classes on energetic work. I do tarot cards, and I did a lot of cards and studying on my tarot cards. And I did a lot of things that but really did allow me to bring in my truth and my power. It was a period of time where I allowed myself to be filled with what it truly needed to be filled with, which was so nurturing for my soul. And so what happened for me was I really felt those gateways open, and I saw my path very clearly, and I was able to move forward from that place, really knowing not exactly what my purpose was, but knowing that I had one, and knowing that I was going to listen no matter what, and I was going to stay on that path no matter what. And during that time, I had so many different memories come up and different experiences that really just, I didn't even know I was able to experience, because I had never truly allowed myself to experience that before. And it was a very wonderful year that I do not regret having to be in bed. And it brought me very much to my path.
And that's what we all want. That's what we're all seeking, is our sacred path, you know. We're all walking around asking the question, why am I here? What am I here to do? What am I here to contribute? You know, I don't think anybody's really truly happy if we're selfishly thinking about our lives. But we all want to contribute, and we all want to know what our sacred path in life is. So what really stops us is not giving ourselves that authority, that inner authority, not really listening to our truth, because we all know. We all know what's working for us in our lives and what's not working for us in our lives.
I think it's very easy for us as we're growing up and we hear all the different things that we hear, and unconsciously really allow all of these different belief systems to impede on our truth. And so as we move forward, what we can do is really look to see, is that truly working for me? Is this relationship truly healthy for me? Is this job really bringing my heart joy? Is this truly something that makes my heart sing and makes me feel free?
Absolutely. And so the first step to this is really just the understanding that you have an amazing potential to access. You do have a sacred path. You do have a purpose here. And really bringing that state of awareness into your life. And the second step here is really an assessment, you know, an honest assessment. What is working for me and what is not working for me in my life? What is really bringing me joy and what is not bringing me joy? Assess your relationships, assess your work. Do that with every area of your life. And then the third step here is don't be afraid to make change, you know, because it's going to be challenging. It's always challenging to step onto our sacred path, so it takes courage. But if we can find that courage to let go of this belief system or this relationship or this line of work and step into something that brings us more joy, then that is stepping on to your sacred path. And it will absolutely, because history shows us time and time again, it will absolutely bring us untold abundance in every area of our lives, and it will also, and most importantly, bring us tremendous joy.
Tremendous joy and tremendous freedom.
Oh. So, thank you for listening. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel here, the Hope and Faith Foundation, and also check out our website. We thank you for listening. May you walk in a sacred manner.
Make it so.